Hey, this is Ish Monroe, teamed up with Daiwa for 2014 again. Super duper excited. Everybody knows that I am not a fan of the fairy wand, but I have to say that this is her. This is my new girlfriend. It's the Steez EX spinning reel 2508. It is the ultimate spinning reel. I mean, they've done so many different things to this reel to make it lighter with the Zion frame. They've actually got the air spool to it. The drag is ultra smooth. I mean, this drag pulls so easily, even when it's really tightened down. The Steez EX is the ultimate reel. The reel's actually completely sealed, so it never has to be greased on the inside, so the grease never gets flung out. You never get grease on your hands. It's completely sealed, so you get the smoothest reel out there possible. So the Steez EX Mag Seal reel is the way that I'm going to go on my spinning reels for this year. And I teamed this up with the 7-foot Steez spinning rod. It's about a medium to medium light action. This is going to be the rod that I use for drop shots, flick shakes, wacky rigging, 4-inch Senkos, anywhere at time I'm fishing. 4 to 8 pound test line. This is definitely going to be the rod that I'm going to be using this year, so I'm pretty much ready to go out and go fish it. So I'm going to go fish a flick shake. Let's go. Rig I'm tying on right now is basically just a flick shake head with a missile baits fuse. Basically, I say light the fuse. You know, things get a little tough, you need to get the fish fired up, light the fuse. So I tie it pretty much as I would any other knot, and that's the Palomar knot. Make sure you wet it, get a good glob of spit on there. You can still see the spit that's hanging off that deal, and I always pull the tag in. You know, one thing I like about this reel is when they say mag sealed, you know, it's going to always keep this reel smooth. You know, you're not going to get any water in there. You're not going to get any dirt in there. You can, as you can see, that it's completely sealed all the way through here, which is where all the gears and everything is. So you don't ever have to worry about your reel and maintenance on it. The ultra smooth drag, I mean, I'm going to tighten this drag all the way down, and you'll never see that this drag doesn't skip a beat, and it pulls. And then if you lighten it up even more, it just comes off super duper smooth. The air rotation bail on it keeps the line twist out of the reel. Teamed up with the 7-foot rod, Steez rod. I like this rod because it has a real good tip to it and not a ton of backbone, but just enough for when you're wacky rigging and when you're drop shotting. When I'm out there wacky rigging or drop shotting, flick shake, I mean, I'm pretty much fishing an exposed or a circle hook of something. So when I get bit, it's just a real pull set, not a jerk set, because when you do that jerk set, you're actually going to pop the bait out of the fish's mouth and you're never going to get a hook into the fish. So pretty much with this set, it's just basically you reel down and you pull. And the rod has, like I said, just enough backbone in it to get the hook buried up into the fish. Places that you know that I really like to fish, you know, a drop shot or a flick shake. Well, the drop shot, you know, and flick shake can be fished just about anywhere. Same thing with the wacky rig. You know, if I'm fishing shallow water and I'm fishing, you know, a wacky rig, I pretty much don't use any weight. The flick shake, I'll use like the smallest possible weight I can get away with, you know, roughly 64 32nd 1/8 ounce, you know, flick shake weight. Then when I'm using drop shot, for me, 1/4 ounce drop shot anywhere I go, whether I'm fishing 2 feet of water or 200 feet of water, you know, the 1/4 ounce is definitely the way to go for me. Tournaments have been won, you know, 30, 40 feet of water fishing a wacky rig. Same thing with the flick shake, same thing with a drop shot. But to me, if I'm fishing deep applications, I really like the drop shot and the flick shake. And if I like shallower applications, I definitely stick with the wacky rigs. If I'm wacky rigging, you know, a Senko, I like to use 6-pound test, maximal fluorocarbon. I feel like it gives it a good rate of fall. Same thing I do with the flick shake. But if I'm drop shotting, I really like to use Maximus 5-pound test line. I feel really comfortable, you know, drop shotting with Maximus 5-pound test line. You know, always throwing fluorocarbon on any of those techniques, because fluorocarbon will actually disappear in the water. It has a lot of the traits of water in it, so it disappears once you put it in the water, and the fish really can't see it that well. Colors I like to use, you know, natural colors, green pumpkin, watermelons, Aaron's Magic. Anytime I'm fishing worms, there'll be every once in a while you'll get on a western lake fishing for spotted bass that, you know, you use a neon dawn or something along those lines. But, you know, I really like sticking with natural colors, watermelons, green pumpkins, browns, blacks every once in a while when I'm out there fishing. As long as you stick with those colors, you're pretty much covering all your bases when you're fishing finesse style. When you know that you're, you know, working these baits as slow as possible is definitely, you know, the key to, I feel like, getting a lot more bites. You got this stuff crawling on the bottom. The wacky rig itself does a lot of action on its own as it's falling. So what I will do is I will work it and I'll reel it up and then just let it fall again. And those arms actually start moving as it's going down, and I think that's what triggers the fish into striking. But I really like to work as slow as possible. That's another trick you'll see me do a lot of times is I'll be working the bait and it'll fall off a ledge or come off a stump or a bush or something, and I'll flip the bail open to let that bait free fall again. And a lot of times I just watch my line and you'll see the line stop and then you keep going, and then you know that you better set the hook because that's a fish. If you take these tips, team it up with the Daiwa Steez EX spinning reel 2508, 7-foot Daiwa Steez spinning rod, you're pretty much going to feel everything on the bottom. You'd be able to tell the date on the dime. Good fishing.